There you have it. Going pretty even, I'd have to say, which is a bit surprising given how dominant. You think back to the Season 2 final, how dominant the Lunatic-Hai fans were.
We've actually been spoiled because we're no longer in an enclosed venue, so we don't have to deal with the insane volume just coming out of all the fans. We get to hear them, but they're not overwhelming our senses for once.
Sure, the sound travels while we're outside, but of course it also means that there is a chance for rain, so as this series goes on, we very well might be casting in the middle of a thunderstorm, ladies and gentlemen, which will just make the action that much more exciting.
Could certainly happen. Storm is coming for Lunatic-Hai. If they can't turn this around, I think momentum taken away here would be huge. Now, Eska, of course, already showing that Sombra, so we're going to see the Sombra versus Sombra here. Rascal on the defense, so this again may define how we see the rest of this series develop. Who has the better EMPs? Who builds charge more consistently?
And even who hacks the pack at the right moment could change a fight. They already spot that the most advanced pack is hacked already.
So we'll have advanced knowledge that Rascal's going to be operating onto this one. So we'll go ahead and get one hacked out. Looks back to the side as you see the poking through starting to come in here for the side of Lunatic-Hai. Fisher very far forward, has that Discord orb on him. Jump his way out to safety, but Void's not going to be able to say the same. He's going to get popped out right here, right now, and gets taken down very swiftly by Guido, who is already about halfway towards that first pulse bomb ready to go.
To Ana.
Poking into the backside, looking for the supports, as KongDoo Panthera are able to fight back. They get rid of Jaehong, they get rid of Zuma, but they lose out on Fisher and Luffy at the end.
We're seeing a lot more aggressive play out of Guido this time, but using it to just focus down the Winston. It was the kill onto Fisher at the beginning that started to lead this fight for them. They do have this advantage. They grab the first tick, and it looks like they're just going to have to give it up. Panthera will, because they lost that initial tank. They didn't have enough sustain there to fight against what we were seeing from Eska. They're going to go for one last contest, though.
Yeah, they are. That's going to be Void going forward, but he's already popped into the mech, and Fisher has already fallen as well, so KongDoo Panthera probably just going to have to go ahead and abandon this one. They will surrender it, but it's 5 minutes, 19 seconds on the clock.
And we saw Jaehong deal with Fisher at first, with the Zenyatta, discording at the beginning. We saw him focused down there by Eska and Guido. As soon as he was gone, he was willing to make the switch to Soldier. Didn't need that burst anymore because they already had the sustain healing.
And it was about the speed to get back onto the point and ensure they had a good formation for what they expected was an inevitable last-second contest. So we get a first attempt cap on the side of Lunatic-Hai. The castle phase has certainly frustrated some in the streets phase. We move towards point B though, and here's Rascal with EMP.
Ooh, gets the hack on Eska.
Drops it down, looking for the spray, but can't quite find it. Has to snap back with that translocator to keep himself alive at the moment. In the meantime, Eska, he was just going to get fined by Bird Ring and throws down that pulse bomb. Does sacrifice that to kill the Sombra. Just delay for a little bit longer, but now Miro is going to go up onto that high ground with that Primal Rage, and Guido with the pulse bomb off screen. Going to come up with a double kill. Rascal and Fisher just sticking a little bit too close to each other. Will get taken down. Bird Ring able to answer one onto Toby, but they lose Luffy at the same time.
Spending so much resources to kill Toby, unfortunately, though, and Guido was just much more successful. We saw, again, Birdring's hyper-aggressive style. When Lunatic-Hai moves together, it's just not very successful. He comes in the back, is looking for these picks, he can't find them.
I do mention that the payload did not roll as Birdring kept darting in and darting out. It was only until he was finally hacked by Eska they could take him down and start the payload rolling. Getting it actually through the castle doors has proved so difficult. The last-second contest may actually frustrate for multiple minutes.
The bridge really could become a big obstacle here for the side of Lunatic-Hai, but they still have plenty of time left on that clock. Just under 4 minutes now. They're already getting ready for that approach. Luffy is going to fall, but Void gets rid of Supa. So a 1-for-1 exchange at the moment as we see that EMP coming down. Eska able to use his own, gets taken down before he can pop it, and that should be the hold, at least for the moment now, for KongDoo Panthera. Guido still playing very far forward, looking for Waka Waka. Down, has him from behind and takes him out, and actually Lunatic-Hai are going to be coming out on top. Toby popping that sound barrier in the meantime, helps them stay in, and this payload is going to start crossing that bridge.
It's always about drawing the aggro away from Fisher. He was the main EMP target there. Once he was down, again, more free reign for Guido. He's going to be the target yet again, and this is the playstyle of Guido on the Tracer that we saw in the semifinals. Deal with the tank first. When the Winston comes in, blow him up. That's when you have Jaehong for the Discords.
It's a last-second contest here. They really want to hold it, but it's been all Lunatic-Hai, and this spot that has been so hard for teams to finish on first push is actually first push by Lunatic-Hai.
Very swiftly, you can see here, team management watching in the audience. KongDoo Panthera looking a little bit flustered as they're just getting shattered on Eichenwald right now. 4 minutes, 7 seconds remaining as they push into the castle.
Very ult efficient what we saw there, though. Again, just the EMP, not much else. With Jaehyung still holding on to that Transcendence. Neska's got a second EMP ready here now. Panthera on the ropes here. They've got a few ultimates to defend, but Lunatic-Hai has more. The push continues.
Second almost takes him down. The beat does fall in the end, and Rascal gets popped as well before he can build up for that EMP. Transcendence comes out from Jaehyung as they try to push forward. They're almost rounding the final corner. They pop Void out of the mech. They'll take him down. Fisher able to get the enemy Zenyatta with the Primal Rage in the back of the fight. Pulse bomb throw him down. Not quite going to find Waka Waka, but he is still under fire, and the payload is just meters in front of Point C. Moving unhindered for the moment. KongDoo Panthera have to get in here and try to contest this one. It's going to be a sound barrier coming down with the EMP, but 2 members have already fallen.
But watch Lunatic-Hai pull away when those ults are layered. They don't want to give up any casualties. So many ults used by KongDoo Panthera.
And now that's the sound barrier thrown down here by Lunatic-Hai. They want to end it right here, right now. Self-destruct will get tossed down. Void not going to be finding much of anything here with that. And Nero has his Primal Rage. He's smacking people down back towards the spawn. Completely containing them. Lumpy is going to fall. And this might just be it right here. Waka Waka goes back in. Last second desperation, but that will be the completion on Point C by Lunatic-Hai.
And Lunatic-Hai, the thing that is most Lunatic-Hai about that particular attack is the moment that they saw the EMP come out at the same time, Transcendence go down for the side of KongDoo Panthera. They all kite back, they all respect that there is no need to fight there. They pull away out of sight lines, and there is no extra benefits. No one went down in the first 5 to 10 seconds of those overlapping ultimates, and by the time the EMP and the support ults were down, the team fight advantage, the ult advantage was with Lunatic-Hai.
And that's because of Toby's sound barrier was perfectly timed there. They consistently hacked Void there when he was on the front lines when they needed to do the damage. And sure, let's talk about Fisher for a second. He was the Reinhardt main. That's part of where his name comes from, right? The Earth Shatters he was so famous for. He struggled to adapt on the Winston, but I feel like he's made leaps and bounds improvements. However, tonight, Lunatic-Hai is taking him down consistently, stopping that peel, so then they move on to Void. And once the tanks are down, once the front line is down, it's that front-to-back team fighting you've always been talking about, Papa Smithy. They are making it work.
And front-to-back team fighting is all about focusing down Void, focusing down the tanky front line, and then getting access to the squishy back line. Gone are the Genjis diving for the supports. Now the focus is on inching down the health pools, the massive health pools of the front line. And that has been well done by Lunatic-Hai. Didn't apply to control, worked very well on Hybrid. Is okay, Lunatic-Hai are stylish for now. Let's see what they commit to.
Yeah, we'll see. They still have some time to change to some 30 seconds left on the clock, so they're going to have to make up their minds. But for now, we are going to be seeing the Sarisa and the Torbjorn come through with Nero going over onto that Reinhardt.
This is something, this is a term we use in esports that really started in StarCraft. It's kind of like an all-in, right? If you hold this, you build a lot of ult charge. You can't, it's very difficult to stop. It's kind of cheesy in a way you don't know it's coming until you scout it. But as soon as you react to it, if it breaks down just one time, the backbone breaks, then it's all over.
It's very effective at buying time, at delaying, and Lunatic-Hai have a massive pool of time. This is a very interesting start, though. They're opening with Bird Ring on the Reaper, so they're anticipating some shenanigans.
All right, well, they already know that Eska's going to be running with that Sombra yet again. It's already kind of predictable, but now they'll be spotting out the full composition as they find Keto here on the Sarisa. They see the Torbjorn turret as well.
They need a way to escort Bird Ring into the midst of the turret. He has immense close range damage, but getting them there is hard.
Oh, really good attack.
Bionic grenade goes down there by Jaehyung, keeping everybody alive. That's going to be the turret being killed already. And Toby only improved 25%. KongDoo Panthera, they're on the point. Lunatic-Hai have to try to push out to defend this one, but they already lose out on Keto. That's just going to be the cap. 5 minutes, 48 seconds. KongDoo Panthera have it.
And this is why I call this an all-in. It buys a lot of time. It can be strong. You can hold a few pushes with it if your opponent's not ready. But clearly, Panthera knew how to deal with this. The dive was real. No one could get onto the point. They were stuck in that area. The AoE was coming out, and Birdring just lifesteal heals himself back to full health consistently. Such a great time bank now for KongDoo Panthera.
And they seem to anticipate the Lunatic-Hai. While they weren't going full recent team career scrims, they went pseudo. It was Mirror on the Reinhardt to open that up. It was very much barriers to hold down on the turret, but they escorted in the Reaper so quick at killing the turret, and when the turret dies first, the whole defense falls apart.
Absolutely just gets shattered, and that's going to be a lot of ultimate time wasted to build up for Lunatic-Hai as they do swap over. Fisher finds a kill on the Geo as Lumpy does go down. Looking to poke out, leaping up onto the high ground. We'll stay safe as Zumba. Well, he's creeping. Yeah, he's just going to go ahead and keep this in contention, but the self-destruct will take down Eska, takes down Miro as well. Void, he finds the hit.
We talk about how Void's just so consistent with his self-destructs. That's the thing he's most famous for, and what's more important about than his accuracy is that he's stepped away. He's been using it less often, but still finds the picks when they matter most.
Yeah, that moment was vintage Void, but like you say, it isn't always the long-range launch. Now sometimes it is the zone control, sometimes it is the peel. Excellently used in that particular example, and KongDoo Panthera are bumping on the payload as well.
I mean, we were talking about how fast Lunatic-Hai was able to get that assault, but KongDoo Panthera are looking to one-up them at the sound barrier coming down, but Void's been popped out of the back, but they trend back, they get J-Hawk, they get Eska. Looking for a little bit more as Toby also falls, and this could just be the push straight in. Self-destruct will be used here by Zumba. Not going to find anything, just buy some time, zones him off the payload, but they go right back over to it. KongDoo Panthera are just trucking along.
They're just trying to buy time here using this D.Va ult. Now, of course, Miro buying more time, but it feels like this is an ult waste now because they never had an ult lead in this map, and now they're trying desperately to stop this, but they're failing. They're trickling in one by one.
Comes up to the top, trying to go ahead and keep himself alive. The rest of the people pulling in here. Zumba right up in on top of that payload. Does take down Birdring. That's going to be a lot of pressure alleviated here for Lunatic-Hai on this defense, but Lumpy now a little bit late. Has the Transcendence coming through, but he's still losing members around him. 0.84 away from that point B cap. KongDoo Panthera will be holding.
And this was a delay that KongDoo Panthera weren't able to pull off. To me, the criticism has to go on Luffy, who could have used the Transcendence earlier, tried to hold it for a better spot, and then by the time he respawned and got back to the fight, he used it at the wrong spot, and now a long cooldown that they need to be able to brute force that last 0.84 meters is down for a long while.
And this is something we've seen from Lunatic-Hai on this map specifically a lot. Staggering the ultimate's very risky. If it fails, you might just have the completion immediately from Panthera, but in this case, they did buy the time. They did get the hold. Here comes the EMP.
Yeah, Rascal drops it down, and Eska's going to be the first one to fall. Not able to use his EMP to answer, so that could be a massive opening here for KongDoo Panthera. Pulse bomb coming through. Not going to find anything, so Vito just whipping onto that. Now barrier out for Lunatic-Hai. No way to delete the shield instantly. Both supports fall, as you say, is Void. Feels forced to go ahead and throw out the self-destruct. He'll find Toby, who's coming back from the respawn, but that's about it. The rest of the squad getting ripped apart time and time again. And now it's less than 2.5 minutes on the clock. KongDoo Panthera, they still have to go to distance.
But imagine if they had Transcendence there, Achilles. They were so close to being able to force something, but having a 2 support ult disadvantage really cost them so much. And Luffy's no closer to the Transcendence really than he was
And
before.
when they get the sound barrier for Waka Waka, what's it really going to accomplish? Sure, it can protect Fisher, but there's no way they're going to build another self-destruct. And to talk basics here, this is the longest run back there is on this map, so every stall is so important here. They've really got about 2 big shots left.
That's why we were surprised that there was the full push from Lunatic-Hai through this point. So difficult with a terrain disadvantage. Eska poking around. He's got the EMP. That alone might decide the fight.
Especially since Waka Waka does have that sound barrier ready to go now. He's going to drop it down. Vito does fall. Eska trying to kite his way back. Makes it over the health pack with 3 HP remaining, but the rest of his squad is dying around him. Toby and Miro both being claimed. J-Hong under fire will get his shields back, but Birdring is hunting down for this Sombra. He'll keep him contained in the side room, and that will be the push completed. But it's 2:56 here. Lunatic-Hai had already completed point C at this time.
Critical to note, they really only used the sound barrier. Surprising how much they were able to get done with it. It was Fisher who did the main amount of damage, held on to his primal rage, and the EMP didn't do as much as Lunatic-Hai wanted there. So now Panthera comes in with the ult advantage. We thought they might have if Lunatic-Hai failed that desperate defense we saw, but they do make it through here.
The EMP was going to be crown jewel. Didn't end up being. It's okay. He's Guido.
Pushing forward, and Luffy's going to go ahead and use the Transcendence. Guido does have that pulse bomb still ready to go, and he's trying to line it up with the Zenyatta as he goes out of that one, and he does exactly that. Ring from Miro, pops that primal rage to keep himself alive, and he's holding on to this Tracer ultimate now. It's a really nice recall to heal himself back up to full. The payload keeps inching forward. Eska tagging this one, keeping it in contention. Four members dead on the side of Lunatic-Hai. 5 now going down as the respawn starts spilling through, but that's still just extra meters that KongDoo can get. They have plenty of ultimates to work with to try to get this completion.
Watching here in the final hold, Zumba's hacked, won't be able to use his self-destruct for now.
See Void's going out, not going to find anything, but they do manage to pop Zumba out of his Mac. Rascal going up onto the high ground, nowhere near that EMP, and J-Home has the Transcendence down to the low ground to keep everybody topped off. And it seems like KongDoo Panthera have to kite back.
Smart for them to back away. Waka Waka doesn't have ult. Toby just now gets the sound barrier. Big support ult disadvantage for the side of KongDoo Panthera.
Well, we can buy so much time here. Again, Fisher the target right now. They're going to put the Discord on him. Guido just flying around here, trying to get the kill onto Fisher. Comes that sound barrier we were talking about. Such a great defensive tool. The
Use it,
pulse.
the pulse bomb does find Fisher. Key opening here for Lunatic-Hai on the defense. A minute and 15 seconds is what they need to buy for themselves. KongDoo Panthera, they are suffering losses. A few members getting staggered. They're going to have one more push, one more effective push to try to get this completion.
And also work with on that push, but Fisher going down early meant they could not wait the extra seconds for Luffy to push up and get that ultimate. When it comes to the DPS ults, when it comes to the force, they really have nothing. And Toby's actually going to flex onto the Ana just to provide more long-range heal. I imagine Zumba's going to try to delay up.
Could also be for the sleep start for Fisher, who's going to look to fight to win these fights with the support ultimates. The only ultimates they have available right now. They're going to have to build up for that primal rage. They got one chance already, though. This is such a win for Lunatic-Hai. They have the lead in time bank, and they may just get the win right here, right now.
Take on the J-Hawk, barely gets any damage done, and Rascal has to step back for now. Payload moving back forward, right in front of points in the transcendence used by Luffy. Waka Waka still does have that sound barrier, manages to get it off as Eska drops in that EMP, but Birdring is still going to be the first one to fall. Now the self-destruct out by Zumba.
Such
double! Both supports go down. Zumba finds the kill, but Fisher is able to answer back as Rascal comes back in, drops down his own EMP, and Void has the self-destruct, claims the life of J-Hawk. 3.59 meters left to go for KongDoo Panthera to try to tie this one up at point C, but they are still just getting destroyed. Void nearly popped out of the neck. Fisher down below half HP, and Miro is just smacking away with the primal rage. Will come up with the kill, gets the leap in.
Transcendence
might just have it. J-Hawk going forward, has the heals as they desperately try to tag in, but it's just 2 DPS against the world, and they're both fall, and Lunatic-Hai have the hold on point C on Eichenwald.
It wasn't an invincible hold. There were chinks in the armor that we saw here from Lunatic-Hai, but it was really well done. Of course, what we saw, the focus from Guido onto Fisher over and over and over again, I think that may be the story that defines this series. The EMP usage from both members were better, but having support ultimates up more consistently was Lunatic-Hai. Staggering ultimates, not stacking them on top of each other, which you see from Panthera, which is one of their weak points in the second game.
And we have to talk about the street phase. That was the real big difference between the two teams. Those extra stalls right before the castle doors on the secondary attack meant the time bank was already going to be working against KongDoo Panthera, even if they got the full completion. We were watching the perspective of Eska, looking for the EMP. We actually ended up being surprised they were able to so easily secure, with an ult disadvantage, the castle. But getting through the castle, so difficult. Nice swaps, Toby first, opening up onto the Ana. Then we saw the Mei. It was different to